Shell? Jy sê of my hoe laat gaan julle live gaan? Nee. Nee. Ek dink ons kan kan ons live gaan. Dink ek. 12:30. Ag, sorry. Want ek is ja, 7 uur. Okay. Cool, ek is happy met dit.
Ons drome is verby en ek het seer gekry. Ek huil baie nagte om oor jou, maar huil jy oor my? En waar is jy vandag? 'n deel van my sal wag. Al sal my hart ook stil gaan staan, gaan my liefde vir jou aan en aan, tot alles vergaan. In jou hart se rode vier, het jou liefde opgedroog, en vergeet jy al die ure, die getuig in my hoog, met die sluise voorvallen, met die hemel daarboor, sal jou hart se rode vier, wil laat oorloop as ons gloor, sal jou hart se rode vier, wil laat oorloop as ons gloor. Tyd is net geleen, en my liefde beklei daarteen. Al sou ek als om my verloor, sal ek diep in my jou stem kan hoor, tot alles vergaan. In jou hart se rode vier, het jou liefde opgedroog, en vergeet jy al die ure, die getuig in my bly hoog, met die sluise voorvallen, met die hemel daarboor, sal jou hart se rode vier, wil laat oorloop as ons gloor, sal jou hart se rode vier, wil laat oorloop as ons gloor. En in jou hart is rode vier, het jou liefde opgedroog, en vergeet jy al die ure, die getuig in my bly hoog, met die sluise voorvallen, met die hemel daarboor, sal jou hart se rode vier, wil laat oorloop as ons gloor, en jou hart se rode vier, het jou liefde opgedroog, en vergeet jy al die ure, die getuig in my bly hoog, met die sluise voorvallen, met die hemel daarboor, sal jou hart se rode vier, wil laat oorloop as ons gloor, sal jou hart se rode vier, wil laat oorloop as ons gloor.
mad at them. Stay battling, throwing the rhyme, juggling that, and the rhyme, juggling that, I get mad at them. Stay battling, throwing the rhyme, juggling that, and 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 the rhyme Stay battling, going around, juggling that, when around, juggling that, we get mad at them. Stay battling, going around, juggling that, when around, juggling that, I get mad at them. Stay battling, going around, juggling that, when 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 around, juggling that, when
You walked away, you left me out here on the floor. You didn't care, you're still the one that I adore. You gave me something like nobody did before. Whoa, whoa. If I close my eyes, all I see is you standing there in front of me. You're on my mind constantly. Now I can't get no sleep. All day and night you keep me up. Don't stop, I'm so done. Yeah, I'm giving you more than enough. All my love, I'm so done. Just can't get you out of my head. Boy, it's more than I dare to think about. I just can't get you out of my head. Boy, it's more than I dare to think about. Can't get you out of my head. Boy, it's more than I dare to think about. Can't get you out of my, can't get you out of my, can't get you out of my.
Some legends are told, some turn to dust or to gold, but you will remember me. Remember me for centuries. Just one mistake is all it will take. We'll go down in history. Remember me for centuries. Remember me for centuries. Mama fried my teenage dreams. Now it's nothing wrong with me. The kids are all wrong, the stories are wrong. Heavy metal got mine. Come on and let me in. I'm bruising on your thighs like my fingerprints. This is for the match, the darkness that you built. I never meant for you to fix yourself.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Everybody, let's go. I'm the party starter. Everybody, let's go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome at this inaugural race of the Tony Russ racetrack all the way in Windhoek. This track, like we said, was designed by Peter Grobler, and it's the first time ever that this track is featuring in Assetto Corsa. With me tonight, we welcome the actual Melvin Gous all the way, also from Walvis Bay. Melvin, good evening.
Sean, how are you?
Melvin, I'm always good. It's excitement and nerves and stress and sweat, and I took a bath and I think I need another one.
Yeah, it's today was another day. I mean, with your towers getting, or the batteries from your internet towers getting stolen. Yeah, not an easy day with the stream, so let's hope it all goes well and we don't pick up any issues later on.
Definitely, let's hope that we can just we always will have a problem there with them. And yeah, you know, Brendan's always comes in where we don't normally want them and need them. So let's hope we end up better than what we started out. But yeah, to all our folks watching, 33 viewers currently, I think this is brilliant. I think half of Namibia is currently watching YouTube at this moment in time, and it's brilliant to see so much support for West Africa. And special tonight, we've got a very, 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 you know, emotional touch. Even when I did it, we walked away with a bit of emotions. Mr. Tony Rust himself in studio tonight. We're going to tell us a little bit about how this track came about in real life. And tonight's show, we obviously are dedicating on to Mr. Tony Rust and I think what he's done for motorsport in general. And I mean, let his legacy and his track live on in the virtual world, Melvin.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just checking the chat here and I see that you are slightly soft and we must turn down the car's volume a bit, Sean. With Carl not being here, I know the sound mix is a bit difficult, guys. So thanks for the feedback and we'll definitely be adjusting it on the go.
Perfect,
as we need
thanks
to
you. Yeah, I've adjusted the car volumes now and I've upped myself. So yeah, you know, like we said, Gremlin's going on as we get through. So we'll definitely get this sorted out as we go along. All right, so Melvin, we've got a couple of minutes left here in free practice, and then we will start with our official qualifying basically in 3 minutes time. As you can see, all these guys going right into the, if I'm not mistaken, this is the SRA dip here with Tommy Leary, one of our very consistent racers from the Western Cape, and a family of 3 races as well.
Yeah, Tommy is unfortunately his dad not racing tonight. That's weird. Willie always races. But Joni, his sister, in here and Tommy himself in here. See Tommy running currently in 7th, but if you look at the timesheets, they're really, really close to each other, so not much in it.
Yeah, and currently on free practice pole leader, we've got Warrick Stuart in the JP Hydraulics VW Polo. And yeah, Warrick has always been a consistent, with the nickname of Mr. Consistency. He's always been a front runner and he likes to make his way through the pack. As we can see, almost Maurizio Puccini there with Warrick splitting himself through the pack. But Warrick has had 2 brilliant races with us in the Polos. Kalani, he came through from about 8th and he finished the race in 1st. And the last race we had, Melvin, please help me, a Knockhill, I think. We also came through the pack like crazy.
Yeah, I got knocked off and then he came all the way back to finish 2nd. So that was actually Fakiza in the Polo Cup. He hasn't had the best of luck in the touring cars, but doing brilliantly in the Polos, and he actually hates to drive the car. So we'll see if the new wheel that he got on Friday works for him. First ever time he's on a direct drive wheel from in Sector Tech in Joburg, and he is loving the wheels, so I think that might help him a bit.
Yeah, he's you know, you normally well, you all know that when you get a new rig or a wheel, it takes you about a week or 2 to get used to it, and coming from something as weak that he used to have to a really strong direct drive is definitely going to be interesting. But as we quickly have a look at Joni Lee, our only female driver currently in the pack, she's also the sister of Tommy Leary, as we mentioned. And yeah, Joni Lee is she came in and I think it's her 4th race with us now, and she's thoroughly enjoying it, and she's giving these guys a little bit of slack as she goes along.
Yeah, she's actually taken the time down. She was on 72s last night and she's come down to 71.6s, which is not bad. We're expecting the top guys to run, well, Warwick has gone mid 69s, which is actually Division 1 times. Richie Slammer Jr. in the 70s, or 110 for that matter. So we're expecting them to all run in the 110s during race with the race fuel. Qualifying, we can expect a couple of 79s for sure. Yeah, 69s, sorry. 109s.
Yeah, the race pace was for the whole period that they had was normally in the 109s, and I can see yet again Warrick Stuart is also sitting in the 109s with Mauricio that just jumped up in second place with only 200ths of a second behind him. So yes, Melvin, it's going to be an interesting, very, very close race. 11 drivers and currently sitting with 3 seconds off each other, with the top 8 within us 8 of a second.
Yeah, it's going to be very close, and this track is not forgiving. So I reckon we can expect some accidents and incidents and a couple of offs. But
Right.
in all, it should be good. I mean, Division 2 has always been the cleaner group of the pack, I would say. When it comes to Division 1 later, that's where it's going to get hairy.
That's it. And as we finish our practice times, let's just quickly, Melvin, we did a visit to our JP Hydraulics shop, and for those that has never been visiting Alan in his setup, have a look at this video and see what these guys are doing in their off times. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and yeah, that was, as you saw, JP Hydraulics is a little bit of, how can we say, his pleasure cave. So yeah, Melvin had to step off, unfortunately. He's driving also in the next race, and we are joined by Mr. Carl Lawrence himself from fullgas.co.za. Carl, good evening, buddy. How are you doing?
Hey, good evening. All good. Carrying on. Same thing, different day. Had a bit of technical issues, so I was a bit late. But Melvin keeping my seat nice and warm for me, and I'm glad to be back as we head into qualifying here in Division 2 of the Volkswagen Polo GT Cup, brought to you by JP Hydraulics. I'm a little bit perturbed by how fast the Division 2 guys are, because I've been bumped up to Division 1, and I can't even make the top 4 in Division 2.
Yeah, no, these Divisional 2 guys has really put in the effort, and they've been practicing the whole week. There's some of these gentlemen that's done over 300 laps on this track just in a practice session. So, yeah, I think dedication is not shy at all in this case.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some great times coming out of these guys going into qualifying. We're expecting 109s, I think is what we're going to be looking for, low 109s for pole position. But I think an average of 110s will be, low 110s will be put you in a good place for qualifying. I won't put you in the front, but it'll definitely put you near the front.
Yeah, in our free practice we had Warrick Stuart that was running at a 109, and just on his heels we had Mauricio Piccini at I think it was not even a second, it was 200ths of a second behind him. So these guys, as you can see, these guys are definitely going through the corner there. They are, I don't know if this is qualifying or racing, because these guys are pushing each other through.
Yeah, no, it looks like it at the moment. They're all just trying to find a bit of clear room, but no one's just getting it just yet. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my info up on my screen. Obviously, being late, I've had to set it all up. But I'm on board with James Leach Senior, as he heads down into turn 1. It's quite a tricky turn 1 because it tightens back on you, and the way these cars wheel spin on the power, as you can see there on my screen, it's so difficult to get them to get the drive out and down the long straight into turn 2. And I think that's where we're going to see a lot of position changing happening throughout the race, is down this long straight.
Yeah, and let me tell you something about these James Leaches. You know, these, I think it's James Renier and his dad is the father and sons. These guys are currently sitting in the bushveld. They went away for the weekend, but instead of just going for a relaxing weekend, they took their sim rigs with them, and they've set their computers up, they've borrowed a Wi-Fi, and these guys are sitting in the bush in Africa driving sim race on Tony Rust. How amazing is that?
Oh, that's the way to do it, eh?
Dedication.
That's dedication for sure.
Yeah, he sent us a photo, and these guys are having a nice bushveld braai, and behind them you've got 3 rigs set up here under the African moon, and yeah, it's amazing to see them. But yeah, as we saw Warrick Stuart going straight on the JP Hydraulics main straight, he was doing Nathia Peterson was running a first there at 110s, like you predicted. 110 should put you right to the top. So let's see if these guys can get to their 109s.
Having a look at Peterson through that turn 1, though, again, it's all that wheel spin out of that turn 1. It really does kill your lap time, especially because of the long haul uphill towards turn 2. I know I've spoken about it before, and maybe I'm harping on it a little bit, but it is a really difficult circuit to drive, because as you can see, it's not a traditional circuit. You don't have a lot of runoff and a lot of curbing to use. You go off and you're in the Bosveld. So basically where these guys are sitting at the moment doing their racing is very similar to what we're racing on at the moment. But a great circuit, and really it's covered in history.
Yeah, it's 1984 it was built. As you and I know a little bit, we were talking to Mr. Tony Rust in the week and how they started. But yeah, this track, I mean, I'm just surprised of how hilly and undulated and bumpy this track is, as we could see the Mauricio running a little bit wide there. A little bit of an interesting fact, this main straight, the uphill and the main straight are being used as a quarter-mile drags. So I think if you run there, your cars are normally a little bit slower than when you run in Joburg, where it's a flat main straight. But Mauricio is still running in first position, also at 1010. Warrick Stuart is battling a bit there in fourth position, and then yeah, Michael Rust, I mean, amazingly sitting in third position. And this is from a guy that doesn't particularly like the Polo. He is a BTCC driver. He doesn't like the Polo, and he's doing a third. That's amazing. Oh, and you can see them lying a little bit into CCB, and Mauricio Pascioni has just hit the tire wall there.
I was going to say, as we were on board, I mean, you should have seen them a corner before. It looked like they were having their own little race here in qualifying, but they seem to have calmed it all down a bit and getting themselves into a little bit of an order to get some fast laps in with only 22 seconds left. This is probably going to be a lot of these guys' final chances of moving themselves up the order, as Petrucci is on pole ahead of Peterson and Rust. So I don't see the top 3 changing too much unless Rust is on a proper flyer at the moment.
Yeah, I think this is where they're. If you look at Warrick Stuart, just jumped second there, almost. What's it? 200ths of a second slower than Mauricio, and then Jaden Villiers. Where does that guy come from?
Great little pop up into the grouping there from him. Last lap wonder, and he puts it there on pole position. Stuart setting a reasonably decent time, but Leary going a little bit faster as well. But that brings to a close our qualifying session. And as I said, I don't see the top 3 changing. Eat your words, Carl Lawrence. It's just changed dramatically.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, 110s. Practice we were running 109s, and I think at the race, normally we're about a second slower at the pace. But I mean, what an amazing qualifying from the inaugural Tony Rust Raceway in Assetto Corsa. I mean, it's amazing. This track being narrow, real life, it's one of the fastest and most dangerous track in the Southern Hemisphere. And I think in the virtual world, Carl, you've driven this track, I've driven this track, it is not forgiving.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm absolutely hacking at the moment around here. It is incredibly difficult to try and get this track right. And hats off to the guys that have, because I must be honest with you, I'm struggling badly.
The things I think we have to look out for: turn 1, the total turn, that is definitely I think a track killer or lap killer. And then CCB corner, I mean, you know, for many years we've seen many cars written off or gone into accidents in the CCB, so that's also a track that might kill your lap a little bit. And then the SRA dip, I mean, that little dip after that, you know, it's not it's not an easy thing to get through, and you don't see that right hand side little barrier. So yeah, so as we go racing, lined up on the track, let's have a look and see where we're going to go.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting into turn one a drive or run down into turn one. It is going to be quite a difficult thing for these guys to manage and try and keep themselves all together and not off the circuit, as I'm trying to get to a camera where I can see what I'm talking about.
What's going to happen? Yes, we need to try and see. I think we're going to just try and follow Mauricio, or yeah, let's follow Mauricio through track one and see what he's going to do as they're going to lead down this main straight.
Getting ready for the lights to come off. They're on a bit of a waiting period. This is the most nervous part for any racing driver. The lights are on at the moment, though. They are getting their RPM up, ready to launch it off the line and see who can get down to turn one first. We got 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 and 6. We're getting ready to start this first heat of Division 2. The lights are out and we are racing. Great start from Jay de Villiers. A little bit too much wheel spin there for Mauricio Pucci. As they head down into turn one, but a lot of movement there in the middle of the grid. Down into turn one, though, it is Jay de Villiers that's leading it out. Warrick Stuart down the inside, looking to take that second place. This is where we said we're going to see a lot of moving and shaking, but Division 2, as always, the little more behaved class, and we get the whole field through in one piece.
That's it. Let's just clear our cars quickly there, Carl. And then as we join the action right back with Jay de Villiers in first as he's going through CCB. He's leading the pack with Warrick Stuart right on his heels. And we can see at the back there was a slight lockup there from Michael Russ as they go into the SRA dip. These guys are head onto heels onto each other. 100 kilometers an hour through SRA. That's and they're running a little bit wide.
Off. Warrick Stuart just running slightly off there. That's what I was talking about in qualifying. There's not a lot of room there to make a mistake. Mauricio is going to try to go around the long way. Is he going to get on the power nice and early enough to get the run down the line? They do have push to pass. I think they've got 5 in total for this race. And if Mauricio was clever about it, he didn't use it in the first beginning part of the lap, and he can use it now to regain second place from Warrick Stuart heading down the main straight at the moment. A little bit of a gap forming between these three and the rest of the field as we watch them head down into turn one is Tommy Leary. But just behind that, it looked like Rust on Peterson. No, sorry, behind them, it is Rust on Peterson down the inside into turn one. He's decided against making that move or making the lunge. Rather finish in a good 6th place than write yourself off. Accident behind
accident.
Fleming, Gous, and Leach Senior getting into a little bit of a argy-bargy moment there. And unfortunately, ending a lot of... Sorry, not Gous. It was Fleming, Senior, and Jonah Lee. Just ending their chances of a top 10 finish there. And getting into a little bit of a argy-bargy into turn one. But having a look back...
Don't put James Leach off. This gentleman has many a times come through the back of the pack and finish off onto pole. So don't put him off. As you can see him already making a move onto Gary Fleming as they go through the SRA dip. As Gary... And yeah,
he's putting a good drive out there. Going to go around the long way, see if he can get this move done into the right-hander. This is a double apex corner, so the outside move is on. He breaks far later than Gary at the into the left-hander, and for all intents and purposes, that's job done for me. But Fleming, not letting him go easy, looking down the inside to try and get past. But as I'm speaking, Warrick Stuart sets the fastest lap of a 109.6. So that's going to make James Leach Senior's run back to the front.
Oh, no, just touching with Jay. There's a little bit of a rubbing into the track one or corner one with Jay de Villiers, Warrick Stuart, and Mauricio. Bumper on bumper action as they're going up straight onto the bitstream back straight. So these guys are definitely racing on the front.
Yeah, it's time to get the moves done. This is what we're used to in watching POLO CUP. I mean, if you watch POLO CUP,
there's a huge action at back. That is Nathia. Nathia just went into CCB like we said. Many drivers in real world has hit that same accident spot there. As James Leach now need to avoid him as he goes through. Well done, Nathia.
Tommy Leary, though, looking a little bit hungry behind these three, sorry. He's caught onto the back of Mauricio with the dicing that they're doing. So what was a 3-way battle for the lead may soon become a 4-way battle, and Michael Rust isn't too far behind either. So this race is far from over with 11 minutes and 33 seconds to go. Nobody is resting into a rhythm and trying to get away. This is definitely going to be a battle for the majority of this race.
Yeah, as they go up here on the JP Hydraulics main straight, Tommy Leary is doing exactly what he's always doing. He's settling himself into 4th position and waiting for a mistake. Look at this pressure he's building up onto Mauricio as they go through into the total corner. On the inside, let's see if he can clear out. And he's just done it. He's just taken this guy on the outside, and let's see if he can actually keep it up. Mauricio on the inside trying to regain his position there.
Yeah, Mauricio set himself up for a good cutback, but it looked like Tommy Leary had a push to pass in the bag and just hit that button and said, thanks very much, mates. I'm going to take this position from you. I'm up into 3rd. Follow me on and let's try and get into the front of this battle. But at the moment, Warrick Stuart was the quickest 2 laps ago, so he does have the pace to get past that of De Villiers. And as we see him run right onto the back of De Villiers into this right-hander, very tricky right-hander, Armco on the inside there. Turn in too early and you're going to end yourself your race very, very shortly. But as we head now into the final left-hander, Warrick Stuart all over the back of Jay De Villiers. Are we going to see him hit a push to pass to get it done down the main straight? He's right under the bumper of Jay De Villiers with Tommy Leary just leering in the background there, waiting for a mistake and waiting to capitalize and take the lead of this race. Jay De Villiers going very defensive, but Warrick Stuart has used that push to pass button. That is why he's so much faster in a straight line. He's got the move done before the braking point, but whether or not he can outbrake Jay De Villiers down into turn 1 is the question. Jay De Villiers late on the brakes. He's going to hang on to that inside line, and it's going to be a drag race down to turn 2.
These guys are going up this bitstream back straight like 2 demons out of hell. These guys are fighting it, and you won't actually say they're mates, but Warrick Stuart regained that position. He's back into 1st position. Jay De Villiers right on him as they go into CCB. Let's see what Jay De Villiers can do. Maybe he can, he's making that stick. And as they go into SRA dip, let's see if Jay De Villiers can now underbrake, or Warrick is just going to regain that position. But these guys are giving us a fight and a half. Jay De Villiers, you guys can see, is just slightly closing that gap off as they go on into the Volvo Cars corner coming up next. Warrick Stuart from JP Hydraulics Racing. Yep, it's still a 4-way battle through the Namibia Cars and then into the G4 Sim Bend. These guys are now hitting the JP Hydraulics main straight, and I think this is a race that's just settling in. 9 minutes to go. The back of the pack is quite spread out enough, and I think this is our tightest battle at the moment.
If Tommy Leary wants to get onto the front of this race, he needs to get past De Villiers as fast as possible. That is what he's trying to do. He's going to try and outbrake De Villiers round the outside. Is he going to get the job done or look for the cutback? He's run wide. He's not going to get the drive out, and that's going to allow Mauricio a look down the inside into the following right-hander after the straight. That's what I was talking about in qualifying. You need to get the drive out, but Tommy Leary proved me wrong and using that push to pass button to have another look at Jay De Villiers. He can go around the outside now.
He's going to make this stick.
TCP, that wall is right there. Is he going to make it happen? They're still side by side. These boys are showing us how it's done. This is not a Division 2 race. I expect these 4 to come join us in Division 1 because this is a proper driving.
I don't know what track these guys are driving, but I can't get through CCB and SRA Bend by myself. How do they get through 2 cars side by side? This is just remarkable as they go through the Volvo Cars Namibia bend corner and into the G-Force bend again. I mean, this is, you can see these guys doing 150 kilometers an hour down the JP Hydraulics main straight, and yeah, you know, this is really a battle now for second place with De Villiers in second, Leary, apologies, in second, De Villiers and Mauricio right on the back with him.
De Villiers trying to have a go again now. De Villiers trying to get his position back in second place. This is allowing Warrick Stuart to ramp off into the distance, but Extreme Festival eats your heart out. Tommy Leary running into the back of De Villiers there, trying to get the cutback. But guys, this I just witnessed the Extreme Festival on Saturday, and that was in the real world. We didn't see racing like that, right? Like this. Yeah, this is absolutely phenomenal, showing the real racing boys how to do it and how to put on a show.
Yeah, I think for an inaugural track and launching of a new virtual track, these guys are thoroughly enjoying themselves. You know, it's a difficult car to drive, these polos, and it's a difficult track. And you know, like they say, 2 opposites attract. Maybe this is a match made in heaven. Difficult car, difficult track, and they just both work very well as they go into the Volvo Cars Namibia corner again. You can see Michael Rush. Look at this guy. He's closed up. Look at this gap between him and Mauricio. It's only 0.3 of a second. He's definitely gonna, I think, attack these guys very, very soon now.
Yeah, Michael Russ enjoying the car, the corner that's named after Volvo Cars Namibia. Obviously his favorite corner on the circuit, but he's doing very well through there to close the gap on these 4. But unfortunately for us, fortunately for Warrick Stuart, unfortunately for us, he's made a little bit of a gap on these 3 with the battling they've been doing. and he's managed to hopefully he can maintain that gap and walk away with a victory here. But these three are definitely not calling it quits, and they're still dicing for second place.
Yeah, I think these guys are going to settle into this pressure moment they're in currently. But in this field, we have two Namibian drivers. If we have a look at Richie Slamet at the back here, I think this is his third race currently, 15 years of age, and he's putting the pressure right onto Manuel at the moment here, with Yassine just having to fight Richie off the whole time. So yes, well done to you, youngster, keep it up. And then we've got Michael Rust, also from Namibia. So there's two local heroes in this fight for position. As we can see, these guys through the G-Force bend, they are tires are burning with Mauricio, as he's now putting the pressure onto Tommy Leary. I wonder who's got push to pass left and who's not. But Warrick Stuart is now, I think his guys just pulling away from them.
Yeah, I think with the amount of racing we've seen these boys at it, I don't think anybody's got any push to pass left. But Jada Villa is very slow down the end of the straight compared to these two. We could see all three of them going into turn one side by side. Round the outside, Tommy Leary again. He's going to lose that position to Mauricio if he's not careful. If he doesn't get the drive out here, Mauricio might... big oversteer moment for Mauricio. And unfortunately, that ends his hope of having a smack at James Leach, but another Tommy Leary. But as I'm saying that, the man you mentioned coming back from the back of the grid, James Leach Sr., up into 8th place and currently setting the fastest lap on the circuit.
Yeah, these guys are flying down here into the SRA dip. You could see Jay de Villiers with Tommy Leary right on the back of him. Tommy is playing a different game tonight. Normally, Tommy is a patience gentleman that just sits, oh, not a gentleman, a youngster. He's just sitting there and waiting for these guys to make a mistake. But he's putting tremendous pressure onto Jay de Villiers. As you could see, Warrick Stuart there, and look at all of them actually wheel spinning as they exit the G-Force bend here. So, yeah, the racing is on.
Are you saying us youngsters can't be gentlemen? That's rude. That is ageist, and I take that to heart.
I do apologize.
But let's get back to the battle at hand.
Next time I see you, better open the door for me, buddy. As they go through into the total corner, let's see what Tommy Leary can do. I think these guys are now just settling into a rhythm. 4 minutes to go. Yeah, let's see the rest of the pack. Mauricio is in 4th currently. Michael Russ is just settling in quite nicely in 5th. Yassine, look at the battle here. Yassine and Richie Slamet. 0.4 of a second onto Yassine. I think if Richie plays his card well, he's going to get this guy probably into the Volvo corners or the G-Force bend, which is quite a faster. 160 km an hour, 4th gear, up onto the bitstream back straight, into the CCB. Let's see what this youngster can do. Remember, he's driven here. He knows this track. Oh, is he running a bit wide there?
But have a look behind him. Is that James Leach Sr. looking for a way past into 7th place after being at the back of the grid?
Told you, this guy can bring thing. I think is a clean African bushveld air that's working remarkable wonders on him. But oh, look at Richie
what a
drifting there. He's catching that car. That's like a drift. I mean, what are we watching?
Christopher Long, I hope you're watching.
Yeah,
got a new protege coming for you, boy. New drift champion on his way.
No, there's big competition in that scene coming up. But you know what? That little bit of a drift mistake. Look at James Leach now. Tremendous pressure as he's going through. James must have pushed to pass down this JP Hydraulics main straight as they come into the total corner. Let's see what he's going to do. I think he's going to take Richie there. He's going to be clever and undercut him.
Yeah, James Leach, he had 2 push to passes. He's down to 1 left now. Obviously using that one down the straight. But if we have a look at the front pack, Warrick Stuart, 0 push to pass. De Villiers, 1 left. Leary, 1 left. But Mauricio, 4 push to passes left. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens in the front there in this last 2 minutes.
Well, 2 minutes, and we're running about a minute lap times. So I think if I'm Mauricio, I'll start using my push to passes. If I go down that main straight, a little bit of drafting and a push to pass, I think if he uses it carefully, he can actually gain onto Tommy.
100%. That is a definite.
Yeah.
But having a look now, I'm just trying to see gap-wise throughout the field what is going on. This is the closest battle on the circuit, besides that of Richard Leach and Emmanuel. And that gap is closing fast with, I think, just over probably 3 laps left to go in this race.
Yeah, this gap is definitely closing fast. I think Mauricio is going to use it. He's going to close down on Leary. If he puts a lot of pressure on, I think Leary. Look, this guy's not bad, but he's going to do it. Let's have a look quickly. Richie Slamet hasn't given up. Look at this guy. He's just half a second behind James Leach, so senior. So I won't call this one. You know, he's sitting with. None of them has got push to passes, so this is just going to be a straight-on battle.
No, for sure. I definitely think this is probably going to be just a straight-up battle between all of these drivers. And it's always good to see that, though. You know, push to pass does make you a bit lazy. But around this Tony Rust circuit here in Namibia, a lot of the locals that normally watch this racing live are joining us on the YouTube channel as well. So it's nice to have them here watching as they would in the un-COVID world. But unfortunately, this is what they got. But the racing here has been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, and you're talking about locals. You know, if you think about guys like Maurice Botte, you know, he's always there. Who else we've got? Bert Tubbs, you know, he's always there. He's always got the biggest drive and the passion for the sports. Eva and Anita, you know, the camera people that's always there, giving us the best shots in the cameras in the real world. So, you know, these guys are firm supporters.
What's going on here?
Oh, look at James Leach, where he's fallen off from Richie Slamet.
James Leach has, there looked like a bit of a lag moment there.
Yeah.
Because there must have been a lag. He ran wide, Richard came passing. It must have just been a lag issue going on there. But you are 100% correct people. You know what? A famous racing driver once said to me once, whose name escapes me, so he can't be that famous. But race cars don't make racing, people do.
That's it.
So
it's
the people and the characters we have at the track, that's what makes motorsport what it is.
You know, it's a support, it's the sponsors, it's the people that's willing to get involved, and that is what making and growing. And I think that is where Volvo Cars Namibia, JP Hydraulics, RS Freight Services, you know, these guys are true supporters for many years and making motorsport grow. But as we go into the final lap, Warrick Stuart is leading now with a tremendous gap of about 3-4 seconds on this track. It's a lifetime.
Yeah, this track is very short. It reminds me more of a karting circuit than that of a car circuit. But it is quite narrow and quite tight. So, but saying that, there is a great karting circuit here in Namibia as well. A lot of good drivers coming out of there. We're going to see one soon in Division 1, Arjan Null. Great car to himself, also coming out in Namibia. So some great talent coming from here. And Cyril van der Merwe was one that said this was one of his favorite tracks on the African continent, which is big praise coming from a character that big.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, we've fallen in love with this track just in the virtual world. And, you know, I think if we have to drive it in the real world, you know, you'll be quite familiar because this track does replicate every bump and left. But as we quickly look, Warrick Stuart in the JP Hydraulics car on first position, finishing on the JP Hydraulics main straight. What a match made in heaven. Warrick Stuart took it.
That's
Joe
a
De Villiers, brilliant in second
app.
place. Tommy Leary brought it home in 3. Mauricio finished the race with 3 push-to-passes left to go. Michael Russ bringing it home in 5th. We've got Yassine with the dice with James Leach into 6th. James Leach in 7th. Richie Slamet, well done youngster, 8th position. And then we've got Joanny Lee. She's going down, I think this is into the Volvo Cars corner if I'm not mistaken. And then, and then out of the G-Force bend. So she's going to bring it back in 9th. Gary Fleming is going to take up this 10th position, and then Nadia Peterson. Oh, he actually I saw now did not finish, so he's pulled off. I think that accident was just a little bit weighted, but with us, Warrick Stuart. Good evening, sir. How was your race?
Good evening, guys. How's it going?
Yeah, well, great. Thanks to yourself, Warrick. Great racing there from you, mate. Bit of hard work for you in the beginning, and then it was pretty much hammered out and off you went.
At the beginning, obviously, Jay had quite a bit of pace, but I strategically planned my push to passes down the straights just to get side by side with them to obviously bring the battle a little bit closer. And then, obviously, with the battling between myself and Jay, Tommy Leary was able to catch up to the back of us, and Jay got tangled in that fight and gave me a chance to get away.
Yeah, you must have been very thankful to Leary there for joining the party and making a bit of an interesting battle there so that you could get away. What do you think for race 2? Have you got the pace in the bag to do a flagged, come back from 8th and get another victory there, or are you expecting turn 1 to be a bit of a mess?
I'm just going to be patient into turn 1. Obviously, the guys, hopefully they don't make mistakes, but if they do, I'm going to try and capitalize on the other guys' mistakes.
Yeah, Warrick, all the best for you. Keep it clean, keep it on the track. Just before you go, how was it, by the way, driving on the virtual world of Tony Rust?
It's a lovely track. I actually thoroughly enjoy it. In the beginning, I was struggling a little bit, obviously, with a few blind corners and a little bit of an off-camber corner, but once I got the hang of it and I got my setup dialed in and everything, it was absolutely amazing to drive on it. I take my hat off to Peter Grobler for redesigning the track, obviously, that Mr. Tony Rust designed back in the day. And he's done an absolute amazing job of it.
Yeah, these guys has done well. But, Warrick, all the best for you, and keep it clean in the race too.
Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers, cheers.
Kali with us as well. Mr. Jay de Villiers, where do you come from, Jay?
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, how was that race? I mean, you featured from nowhere, coming into first, and then just putting the hell of a pressure onto Warrick there.
Yeah, it was a tight race. Eventually, Warrick got away. I tried keeping up with him, but Tommy was keeping me very busy and very preoccupied, not even giving me a chance to think of Warrick in front.
Yeah, it was a massive battle between yourself and Tommy Leary. You managed to settle down quite well in the mid part of the race. What do you attribute that to? Is it a superior setup knowledge, or did you just come to grips with the track and manage to settle down into that second place?
I think Tommy was quite preoccupied himself with. I think there was somebody behind him. I can't remember who, but I think the reason for that is that I pulled away because he was too busy trying to defend against the guy behind him.
No. But Jay, all the best for you into race 2. Keep it clean, and we'll see you guys later. Kali, with that, let's just quickly go and look at one of our JP Hydraulics, what these guys are up to. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here. We've got 50 seconds to go for our race 2 that is coming up as well. So, interesting race 1. For those at home, remember our top order is reverse top 8 finishes of race 1. And that puts Mr. Richard Slamet in first position on pole in the VW Polo going into the first corner. James Leach right on him, and that's going to make an interesting battle. Michael in fourth in the mid pack, and then at the back we've got Warrick, Stuart and Jay de Villiers and Tommy Leary that's going to try and get their way through as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the faster guys coming through the back here. But Richie doing very, very well in the previous race and catching that massive oversteer moment. So I think he's got a little bit of hidden pace in him. And we could see a bit of an upset here in race 2 as the lights come on. 3 lights are on. We're waiting for the 6th. When they go off, we will go racing here at Tony Rust. The lights are about to go. They have gone off and we are racing. Great start there from Richie to put himself into the lead just ahead of, I think that was Michael Rust, as we head down the main straight and into turn 1. What a gaggle of cars, a lot of movement going on, but it's Maurizio down the inside, a big move and a big, contact there at the back.
Warrick Stewart and Gary Fleming.
And again with Warrick Stewart. So unfortunately, Warrick Stewart, our previous race leader, is going to have a lot of work for himself here in Heat 2.
Yeah, Mauricio's also dropped down a little bit there from fourth position into 5th. So not too much, but now he's got tremendous pressure. Look at Tommy Leary drifting that car sideways through CCB.
Oh,
Mauricio's just gone off. And there goes, what's it, Yasin? No, Nathia again. Unfortunately for him, gone off. And let's see how he joins the track. Let's get our cars off the track quickly. Carl, if you don't mind.
A long time ago. Michael Rust going in there with Stuart just behind him. So Stuart looking for a way to catch onto the back of Michael Rust. I'm actually hanging on to my WTCR VW, hoping they won't notice if I race it in Division 1. but I'm sure they will.
Yeah,
But
and Michael Russ has also lost a bit of positions. Started in 4th and now is back to 8th. So I think between Michael Russ, Warrick, Stuart, I think those are, and Mauricio, those are the 3 biggest losers now currently in this race. Richie Slammer doing remarkably in first. Look at this guy. He's already pulling almost a second gap on Yassine. And Yassine that overtook James Leach Sr. as well. So as we can see, he's
very
running wide. Yeah.
So just opening that gap for Richard there. Richie doing very well with his push to pass. He's still got all 5 of them. So it's going to be interesting to see. Sorry, I don't actually think this figure is correct. If I have a look on my Gary Fleming, unfortunately disconnected from the server.
Yeah, I think it's after that accident.
So unfortunately, Gary Fleming just hitting the give up button. But James Lee Sr. down the outside of Emmanuel into
and look
this.
at Tommy
They're
Leary.
going to go 3 abreast.
Yeah, look at Tommy
Leary.
Leary.
Looked like he was going to stick his nose in there and make it 3 abreast. He thought better of it, but he's going to. Looks like he might gain a position here as they head into the left-hander. I think this is the Volvo Cars Namibia corner.
Yeah. That's it. Volvo Cars corner into the G-Force bend. They are now running almost wide. Look at Jay de Villiers on Tommy Leary as well. So, you know what? As we call it, Simrace Africa, battle for 2nd, 3rd, always the case.
That's absolutely phenomenal racing as we look at Leary back down the inside now. He's obviously on the push to pass the button because he's gotten that done. But the fastest lap comes from Richard Slamet Jr., so Richie as he's better known, taking himself the fastest lap and a bigger lead in this race. But don't get too comfortable because you got Lee Senior chasing you down there in that 2nd place, and just behind him, Tommy Leary. We know Tommy Leary is very quick. Tommy Leary up into 2nd now, but we know Tommy Leary very quick in the early part of the race. And just behind them is that ominous-looking grey polo of Jay de Villiers.
Look at that polo lifting up that left rear as they clip that curb. James Leach Sr. is now chasing down Tommy Leary as they go into the SRA bend. And we've got Yassine also that's saying, hello guys, don't count me out. I'm still in this race. You can see Yassine clipping the barrier a little bit there, pushing him to the left. And Jay de Villiers capitalized there. I think he's going to close the gap as they go through Volvo corner now. And look at the inside, Yassine. Let's see who's going to have the run out. Jay de Villiers is there, and he's running a little bit wide, which I think is Yassine is going to capitalize as they go through the JP Hydraulics main straight here.
That was a great line from Jay de Villiers.
Look at the fight. Michael Rust and Joni Lee. There's a fight with Joni Lee in 7th as she's going through onto the JP Hydraulics main straight with Michael Rust, sorry, apologies, side by side, and Joni's just sticking him in. I think that is a push to pause move there, and let's see what they do in the total corner.
Yeah, great move there from Joe. Michael Russ still on the inside though. Is he going to keep it there? And is he going to be able to get past? They're going to make contact. A little bit of touching there, and that's allowed Warrick, Stuart, and possibly Peterson to make a move on Jonah Lee, unless Jonah Lee is still able to get the drive out of that car. No, it doesn't look like it. Warrick Stewart's already ahead long before they get into the next court. And Peterson going to dive it down the inside.
Oh, touch, a huge touch again. 3 cars.
So Nathia Peterson taking out 3 cars in one foul swoop with a little bit of outbraking, and Maurizio just coasting around him, and contact between himself and Jonah Lee. What is going on, boys?
Yeah, that was, I think, is unfortunate, but yet again, action in CCB. It always happens. You know, these guys got to take the corner, keep to the right, late braking, and make your turn in. I think as we were taught, that's the way to do it. But yeah, huge battle at the end of the track. But let's look at, we could see in the back street and the main straight, we've got Richie Slamet killing a lead here from Tommy Leary, and he's still got 3 push to passes left.
James de Villiers just getting past Jay de Villiers just getting past Leach.
2 cars.
Sorry, James. Who's he? With James Leach Senior and Manuel there. So he got past them between Volvo Cars Namibia G-Force corner and into turn 1. So 2 places in the space of 3 corners. Great driving there from Jay de Villiers, but he's got 5 seconds to catch onto the back of Richie Slabbert. The young 15-year-old might be walking away with his first win here in the SRA Polo Cup, the JP Polo Cup Hydraulics, the JP Hydraulics Polo Cup Championship. There was so much mouthful going on there. But as I say that, the man not getting confused is James E. Senior trying to go around the outside of Jay de Villiers. Is he going to try the same line Jay de Villiers tried on him, get the cut back and get the run down the main straight? Let's wait and see. But unfortunately, Richie throwing away that lead and obviously making a mistake. A little bit of commentator's curse. I must apologize there, Richie.
Yeah, it normally happens, but look at Richie. I think he is coming up. No, it's Tommy Leary that overtook him there. So, yeah, I missed that one, unfortunately. But Tommy Leary is now also in the lead as I go through. But don't count Richie out. He's still in there. You know, he's
as you
really
say
coming
that,
up
Tommy
the
Leary
lane.
ran wide. But as you said that, Tommy Leary ran wide onto the grass, and he's dropped that gap from 1.4 seconds down to 0.8. He's on the push to pass, so he's going to bring that gap down even further, down to 0.7 now as they head into this left-hand here, CCB, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And Richie really getting the hammer down to get onto the back of Leary, but behind them the battle still continues between Yassine Manuel and De Villiers. Carl, get it right. I'll get it right eventually, I'm sure. But the two of them still battling it out for 5th and 4th position respectively into Volvo Cars and Namibia into this corner here just behind Jay De Villiers, and Jay not getting away the way I thought he was going to.
No, Jay is now under tremendous pressure from James Leach Sr. You know, these guys are some of our better drivers in Divisional 2, and, you know, accidents and mistakes are far and few. But let's see, James Leach is now also trying the JP Hydraulics main straight. Look at him coming up. He's going to have to do it on the either undercut or try and overtake him on the outside. Let's see what he does. They're hard under the braking into the corner. Jay De Villiers, a little bit of a lag there. And look at Yassine. He's caught up right onto these guys as they will spin out of total corner into the bitstream back straight. No, yes,
James Leach all over the back of Jay De Villiers, snaking left to right as he couldn't decide which way Jay was going to go. Jay's covering the inside though. He's going to have to go for an... he's drifting the grass! What a catch! Contact between himself and Manuel there. But wow, what a catch. James just breaking it on the grass, able to get that car under control again, but unable to keep his spot in 4th position. Jay De Villiers got a little bit of breathing room now, but don't count those two out. So they don't keep battling with each other. They can get back onto the back of Jay De Villiers now and make a point of trying to get that podium position from him. But just in the front, Richie has brought the gap down to 0.5 as he hits the push to pass button. He's going to bring it down even further into turn 1. We've got a race on our hands for the lead as well.
Yeah, Richie Slamet, you guys will know, as we made an announcement this week, that RS Freight Services and Richard Slamet, the owner, and he's Richie's dad. As look at Richie on the inside of Tommy Leary. Let's see if Tommy can make the stick. And Tommy, Richie,
what happened?
You're retiring there, buddy. Maybe fuel. I think he might have forgotten to put fuel in. That's just happened so many times with us. But yeah, unfortunate for you, buddy. Let's see if you can refill and get back on. But yeah, but RS Freight Services, anybody from Simrose Africa, quote your name when you phone them. And courier service between South Africa and Namibia. Substantial rates for all of our members. So yeah, well done to you, buddy. Unfortunately out, but you did amazingly well. Let's go to look.
That was a full send dive down the inside. Absolutely brilliant dive from Richie. I think either a steering wheel malfunction or, as you say, ran out of fuel. But if he ran out of fuel, I'd expect him to be back on the track. But unfortunately, he hasn't been able to rejoin. That is very, very sad for Richie.
It's a lot of times these guys are adrenaline is pumping, and you know, you finish your race one and you end up in the driver's room and you start your conversations. Oh, this was cool, and you bump me here, and you know, we push a bit here, and you actually forget to check your setup. You change your tires and fill up. So yeah, it happens, you know, racing, and yeah, we can't complain. As we can see, Tommy Leary now, he's got breathing room for Africa since Richie Slamet is no longer putting pressure onto him. So he's got to keep it clean and bring it home. Battle still on for second. We've got James Leach Sr. with Jay De Villiers. And the fight with Michael Russ is also slowly but surely starting to join these guys. And I think he's going to get Yassine Manuel under pressure as they go into CCB coming up next.
Yeah, Michael Russ, I think it was his father that... put the circuit together. We had a lack of chat with Tony about the circuit and how it came about. Very, very interesting. We'll obviously give you some of that after the racing, but I'm astonished at how much a single family can give to motorsports, and it has been absolutely wonderful to see how quickly Michael taken to the Polo. BDC driver I've had to contend with a few times in the BDC C Championship. Very, very fast driver in his own right, and nice to see him getting his head wrapped around this shopping trolley of a VW Polo and able to get himself into a very consistent 5th place. I think he was 5th in the previous race as well, and setting some decent lap times in the meantime. Only a second off 4th place, Yassine Manuel. Yassine Emmanuel. I will get that right, Yassine.
Yeah,
do
I also
apologize.
battled for the first two races with Yassine. But, just a little bit of a history as well, or not history, well, it's a historic moment for us. But Peter Grobler, who's racing in Divisional 1 tonight, you guys will see a bit later, he created this track, modified it, made it real life. Not only the track, he also built this polo. So if it wasn't for this guy all the way sitting in Bethlehem in the Free State, none of this tonight would have been possible. The same scenario with Mr. Tony Rust in.
I formally protest him for unfair advantage, having both the track and the car. Please accept my protest for Division 1. It is an unfair advantage. No, just joking. Thanks so much for putting it together for us. I'm having an absolute draw. It's an absolute draw. The circuit is phenomenal. I wish I could just wrap my head around it. But a great circuit. But as we talk more about the circuit, let's have a look at Jay de Villiers and James Leach Sr. That gap is closing and closing fast. And it looks like we're going to have a race on our hands now for the second place here in race 2 of Division 2 JP Hydraulics Polo Cup.
Yeah, Jay de Villiers has got one push to pass left, so I think the benefit will be in him if he's very clever in defending his position. James Leach just trying that undercut as he's running very wide there. And Jay, it's great to see Jay de Villiers up in the top and getting it through turn 1. And you see that at the back, Michael Rust was just wheel spinning like crazy out of the total corner as they go up the bitstream back straight into CCB. I think I do love this corner the most. After our SRA bend, I think SRA dip is just interesting. As you can see, James Leach right onto the bumper now with Jay de Villiers. These guys are going to go through the SRA dip here, and let's see what they can do as they're running up onto Volvo Cars corner coming up here.
Yeah, 3.7 seconds behind the lead of these two. But I think that's pretty much done and dusted with only 2 minutes left to go. Unless something goes catastrophically wrong for Leary, I don't see them catching him anytime soon. So this is the battle on circuit. It is half a second between the two of them. James Leach Sr. very good in the slipstream down here. Very good with the undercuts. Jay de Villiers going very defensive very early when there's still quite a large gap. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here on the brakes. And if James Leach Sr. is going to try that deep line to get the drive down the straight again. He runs late on the brakes, turns it in late, gets on the power early. We can see those wheels spinning, crying out for help as they head up, this very long uphill straight into SRA dip, I think it is, at next
CCB
right
corner coming up, and then SRA. Yeah, so CCB is very, very interesting. Look, Tommy Leary is actually closing down. I think I could see some back markers. Warrick Stuart is just hot lapping by himself at the back there. But Tommy Leary is almost with Warrick Stuart. There's only 2 corners between these guys. I don't think he will get lapped, but it's unfortunate for him. I think Warrick Stuart is out of that race.
2 very silly incidents, unfortunately, taking Warrick Stuart out of this race as we look at how hard James Leach Sr. is pushing, running onto the grass on the exit. That's going to ruin his drive down the straight. He seems very quick through this turn 1, turn 2 section here at the circuit in terms of James de Villiers. He closes the gap down, but as they get to this section, it opens back up to half a second. So these two just trading laps at the moment and trading their pace to see who is going to come out on top. But as I say that, it looks like Jay de Villiers put in a decent lap that previous lap and has opened himself a little bit of breathing room over James Leach Sr. Maybe James just ruining those tires. But further back,
look,
Michael Rust and Yassine are absolutely flat out at it, trying to maintain 4th and 5th in this Division 2 racing after a very, very busy first few laps. It's quite strange to see how things have calmed down. Nathia Peterson setting the fastest lap with a 1:09.5 after his incidents, trying to get onto the back of Maurizio, but that gap is massive at the moment.
Yeah, no, this is just building up. 2 laps to go, which is this lap and the next lap. Then we get to the end of the race, and for the viewers at home as well, after this race we will have a 20-minute break. We'll be back at 8:45 for our Divisional 1 race, and in between this interval, after this race straight, we will have the interview with Mr. Tony Rust live, and you guys can hear what this remarkable legend of motorsport can say. And as being a humble gentleman as he always is, he comes across as so calm. But back to the racing. Final lap, Tommy Leary. Nathia is still sitting on 2 push-to-passes, so is Mauricio, but I don't think it's going to help them much. Tommy Leary is now bringing it up on the bit stream back straight into CCB. He's just got to bring it home. I definitely see his mom here, Karen Kotze, in the chat, and I think she's going to be super proud of her kids tonight, both Joni Lee and Tommy Leary. And I think he deserves it. You know, it's the first time Tommy is winning a race, and you know, he's always a top runner, so it's well deserved for you, buddy, as you go through Volvo Course Namibia and into the G4 Sim Bend. Tommy, bring it home and claim your reward.
Yeah, great race from Tommy Leary. He was under massive pressure from Richie. Unfortunately, Richie had to retire, so gave him that easy run over the start-finish line. He's going to go now to take a victory here in race 2, just ahead of a hard-charging Jay de Villiers. He managed to bring that gap down to 3.3, but it wasn't enough at the end. But just behind that, James Reed Sr., Yazin Emmanuel, and Michael Russ rounding out the top 5, and we'll wait a further 20 seconds for those that were caught up in those first lap incidents. Maurizio Pucci, Peterson, Jonah Lee, and Warrick Stuart.
Yeah, Nadia, I think, you know, like we normally call Carl, biggest winner, biggest loser. I think for me, biggest loser must be Warrick Stuart, unfortunately, or Richie Slamet. I think for my biggest losers, unfortunately. And then biggest winner, I will just call on, I think, James Lee Sr., not because coming through that pack and still finishing off in 3rd.
Yeah, no, great driving there. They're all over the hooters at the cool-down lap. But great driving there from James Sr. But my big winner for the race is definitely Tommy Leary. He was under massive amounts of pressure. He came from quite far back in the field to put himself into first and run away with it. But definitely biggest loser, I'm going to have to agree with you. Warrick Stuart, a man we thought that could come from the back. We spoke to him before the start of this race and take a victory. Unfortunately, he spent his race eating tire walls and doing donuts. But he stayed on the track, never gave up, and finished in a good 9th place for the points. But just unfortunate not to see him battling in the front here with Tommy Leary.
Yeah, and with us in studio as we just ending our stream here, Tommy Leary, what did you do, buddy? Tommy, are you there?
I'm here. How are you guys doing?
Great, thanks. And yourself, I'm sure you're over the moon. Getting a victory there. Richie unfortunately had to bail. Called it a quit one there after giving you a full send down the inside. But after that, you had it quite easy for yourself.
Yeah, it was quite easy, but still maintaining the position and keeping focus is quite hard work.
Yeah, especially on a track like this, they could bite you at any second. Armco barriers ready to have you. Embankments just to your left, trees to your right. Quite an interesting circuit. How did you find it? Did you enjoy it?
I love the circuit. I'm guessing it's it's definitely my best race that I've had. But the track is amazing. Tight turns, but everything, the grip, everything is just excellent on this track. Very little passing opportunities. You have to maintain your focus. One little slip up and you're gone. There's no room for error on this track.
Yeah, Tommy. But well done. I think Tony Russ is your most favorite track because you've won here. So claim it. You deserve it. Thoroughly deserve it. And yeah, go and take a breather and let's support our Div 1 guys.
Thanks for that. I'll definitely support them watching the live stream. Thanks you guys for the commentating.
Cheers, Tommy. All right, Carl, before we get into the biggest part of the evening, we spoke to Mr. Tony Rust in the week. How was it? What do you think of this remarkable guy?
You know, as an avid fan of motorsport and someone that's competed in motorsport my entire life, and someone who's still involved in motorsports in terms of teaching the youngsters and getting involved and trying to help youngsters create motorsport careers. The one thing that we've always lacked is someone to give to motorsports. So a lot of people think owning a track is something that you make money out of, that can make you a millionaire. Unfortunately, the thing with motorsport, if you want to be a millionaire in motorsport, you need to start out as a billionaire. It doesn't make a lot of money. It does cost a lot. So for motorsport to continue and grow and be something that we all get to see, love, and be able to support, we need people like Tony Rust and the likes of to go and put venues together for us to go and do our racing on. And to chat to a man like that who is so humble, so down to earth and has given so much to motorsport. It was absolutely phenomenal for me. I think I was deeply humbled to actually have a chat with him, and it was really something that I'm not going to forget in a long time. And I'm looking forward to hopefully getting out to the circuit and seeing a few races there. Maybe I can come and do some live commentary out here and at least maybe get a couple of laps on it, because seeing the circuit in the virtual world, being able to talk about it and be able to talk to the actual creator of this track, how it came about, the history of it, is something that is absolutely mind-blowing. It definitely excites me. And for those of you out in Namibia that need to go and want to go, or motorsport fans that want to see it watching the stream, this is the venue to go to. It is seeped in history.
Yeah, definitely. But with that, guys, it's going to take you about 15 minutes. Sit back, relax, and just listen to what this guy means for everybody, what influence he's been, and how he's leading up into the future. But Carl, thanks for you. All the best in your Div 1 race, and we'll root for you.
Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy the rest of the evening. And once again, thank you to all of you at SRA. We know you're all volunteers, and we appreciate everything you guys are doing.
No problem, Carl. But ladies and gentlemen, with this, we are bringing to you, first time ever, Mr. Tony Rust. Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight being a very, very remarkable and amazing night for Simrace Africa. Not only did we drive the Tony Rust circuit in the virtual world, designed by our very own Peter Grobbe, but we also got the designer and builder, Mr. Tony Rust, with us in studio. Mr. Rust, having grown up in a motoring family with this motorsport running through his veins, has been an idol for so many up-and-coming stars in the Namibian and South African motorsport circuit. Mr. Tony Rust, with his footprint set firmly into the African soil, we invite you now to sit back and relax and enjoy this 3-minute interview, followed with a video of how it all started and where it is today. Well, you've got Mr. Tony Rust with us here today, initial designer and builder of the Tony Rust racecourse all the way in Windhoek.
Hi there. Hi Tony, how are you? I hope you're keeping well. I hope you're keeping your head above water during these difficult times.
Tell me about it. Yes, of course. No, everything's fine. Thank you.
Well, we've just been around your circuit in the virtual world, and I must tell you, it is probably one of the most picturesque and interesting circuits I've driven. I've been driving for 27 years, and it's definitely something I thoroughly enjoyed. But as a man from motorsport and as someone that's been racing for quite some time, what we need to go racing is circuits, and you've managed to provide that for us with the Tony Rust circuit. But give me a brief history on how it came about and how you got into becoming a circuit owner and a circuit builder.
Well, as a matter of fact, I started racing when I was 11 years old, so it was in my blood and in my family. Wow. And when I came to Southwest Africa or Namibia those days, we used to race on a salt track, the last one in the world at Swakopmund. And the problem with that was you had to rebuild it every time before the races, and it got very expensive. And believe me, Osaro van der Merwe and these guys that was also racing on that track found it very interesting, because it's slip and slide in the mornings and the afternoons, and during the daytime when it's hot, it's good. But the thing is, we couldn't carry on there because it got too expensive to fix it every time. And I became chairman of the Windhoek Motor Club in those years, and I realized that if we want to keep on racing in this country, then we had to build a track. And of course everybody thought I was mad, and in actual fact they asked me whether I still believed in Father Christmas,
It's always a difficult thing. I've spoken to a lot of track owners over the years, and everybody assumes that you build a track for monetary value, and we both know that the sad fact of the matter is, in any motorsport, be it international, even in Africa, circuits don't generate revenue, so it's more a passion for motorsports, and then it sounds like you've got that passion. But
Of course.
in terms of designing that, did you design it yourself? Was it, did you have a dream and Father Christmas came and visited you and gave you the design, or did you sit down with other people involved?
No, not really. I was in civil engineering, building roads close to where the track is now. And I was one of the resident engineers there, and so I decided I got a piece of ground which was the only one available through the municipality in Windhoek, and I took the contours and designed the track from that. And then with some help of my colleagues there, we set it out. And I took the club members out for a pry in the bush, and showed them afterwards that there's a bulldozer standing there and I'm going to start building the track, and they still laughed at me. But yes, we built it, and it was working day and night because our time limit was very close to getting a good race, and yeah, well, we did it, yeah. And that was hard work, yeah.
No, that's fantastic. Like I said, I mean, everybody assumes there's monetary value in race circuits, and sadly, that's not the case. So it's definitely done out of passion, and we can hear that you've got the passion, and you've done a wonderful job for motorsport in Namibia. And I've driven the circuit in the virtual world. Apparently, it's very close. So absolutely wonderful, great job. But in terms of the future and what the track holds for the future, have you got any more plans with it, or is there, you want to try and get some more international events up there, or?
In actual fact, I'm retired nowadays, and I've retired from motorsport as well because Michael is racing, as you know. And if I keep on racing, then he'll probably beat me, and that wouldn't be so nice. So I retired, and I actually, the track I built for the Wind Motor Club. So it was given over to them, and they're in charge of it. I believe that they've got now funds from FIA to improve the safety features on the track and so on. So I hope it's going to keep on like that, because I mean, money-wise nowadays it's difficult. But yes, I'm sure that as long as we can, the people will race on it, and I hope so. And I hope everybody enjoys it,
Well, we've all enjoyed it tonight, and I must say, from my side especially, a massive thank you. I'm an avid motorsport fan, and it's what I do for a living. I teach youngsters how to drive and get them going. So I have a big passion for legends like yourself. You've left a legacy. You've left a wonderful circuit behind, and we thank you very much for all the work and what you've done for motorsport in Namibia.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure, and it's always will be a pleasure. Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Tony, and thank you for again a wonderful circuit.
Okay, man. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks, sir. Bye-bye. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. The Mr. Tony Rust, motoring legend, icon, and father in his own right. Mr. Rust, from Simrace Africa, I can only salute you and say thank you for what you've done. It shows it takes one person with the vision and the drive to get something done. And 40 years later, real drivers and virtual drivers are all still reaping the benefits of your hard work and labor you've put into your passion. And may your track live on forever in the virtual world. Mr. Rust, we stand up and we salute you. Forever out. God bless.
Where the river broke, the bloodwood and the desert oak, holding wrecks and boiling diesels, steaming 45 degrees. The time has come to save this fare, to pay the rent, to pay our share. The time has come Ooh, the western desert lives and breathes in 45 degrees. The time has come to save fair's fair, to pay the rent, to pay our share. The time has come, a fact's a fact. It belongs to them. Let's give it back. How can we dance when our earth is turning? How do we sleep while our beds are burning? How can we dance when our earth is turning? How
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.